Right, exciting day today. So we finally finished upgrading the peacock and hat tank. So been very busy over the past couple of weeks. I've been saying I'm going to do it for ages. So if you can remember the old tank, we had all the horrible white panelling on the front. We had the hideous light rail on the top. It was an absolute eyesore. And I've been saying I'm going to do it for ages. So finally upgraded it. This is a major upgrade on this tank. It looks completely different. So I'll show you exactly how I've done it. I've done it all myself. So all with bits of wood that I've bought. There's obviously some things I've had cut to size. And then there's some little sort of accessories that I've bought. But I'll show you exactly how I've done it. But looks amazing. Really exciting day. Right, so here it is, the product of a lot of hard work and a little bit of money as well. But the first thing you'll probably notice what we've changed on this is the lights. So we've got rid of the old hideous light rail, which was an absolute pain in the arse, and we've changed it and mounted the lights above the tank. So the way I've done that is with pine strip wood, 4 pieces, and then we've attached these brackets onto them as well. So these are actually I got off Amazon. They were fairly cheap. You get 6 of them, and they're for holding up floating shelves initially. So they can bear quite a good load on them. And all I've done is I've drilled in the top of them to make a little hole in each one, so that I can screw these LEDs into them. And then I've actually got rid of one of the lights as well. So I did originally have 3 AI hydras on this tank. But now the lights are mounted, what I'm getting is the further away from the water line. So we're getting more spread on the light. So they're spreading more, and as you can see, it's just as well lit as it was previously when I had the 3 AI hydras on it. So saving me money on energy, and it just looks a lot more flush instead of having something sat on top of your tank. It gives me the ability to do water changes, feed the fish without having to pull back and lift up a massive big bulky light rail that was on the top before. So really happy with how the lights have turned out. We've put little extra pieces of wood on the bottom here to create that hook effect, so it hooks on the back. And then I've used like they're like pressure screws, so you usually get them on stair gates, which is where I got the idea from. So any stair gates you've got for kids, and then I've put them down behind, and then you can literally screw them till there's enough pressure on it which will hold the light up. So really happy with them. We've taped all the wires down on the top so it keeps it looking clean, and we've not got cables everywhere. So that's the first upgrade, was the lights. That's the main thing I wanted to do, and looks really flush and clean. The second thing we've done is we've given it a new lip around the top. So before we had the big bulky white one, so I used a lot more. It was a lot thicker wood what I used on that one. So it come out a lot further from the tank, and then it also raised up a lot further from the actual rim of the glass. So now it looks a lot more compact. It looks a lot more fitted with the tank, and I'm not having to reach over to get into it. And then if I'm ever leaning on the tank or anything, I'm not putting pressure on the actual wood on the front. So again with this, I've used pine strip wood. Screwed it all together in a shape. So I've only done the sides and the front so I could mount the lights on the back. And then I've painted it grey. But what I've done with this is I've used a water resistant sealant all over the wood. So what it does is if any water drops on it, the water will bead. It won't absorb into the wood, so I won't get any bowing. If I'm doing water changes, or I'm sticking my hands in the tank and moving rocks around, if I get any spillage over the side, it's not going to absorb into the wood and it's not going to damage it and start swelling. So it gives you that extra bit of protection against any water damage on the wood as well. But it looks a lot more flush. It makes the tank look a little bit more modern, I think. And then we've not obviously got that hideous cladding on it either. I've also changed the cabinetry on the front. So I've gone with like a high gloss grey, 2 panels. It used to have 3. These really needed doing because the previous panels, they were sat directly on the floor. They weren't sealed on the bottom of the wood, so when the washing machine flooded, what happened is all them panels absorbed that water and they bowed. So them doors were never straight, they'd never fit flush onto the tank, and it was really annoying, really irritated me. But these, I haven't made these myself, so I actually got these cut. So if you go online, you look at sort of high gloss cabinet doors, you can get them cut to size. And there's a lot of websites that do it and they'll just deliver it to your house. So I had all these cut for size. These were a little bit expensive, so they were a couple of £100 to get these done. But for the end product, making sure everything's flush and exact to size, and then also all the wood sealed on it as well. So if there is any spillages or anything, I'm not going to have that repeated issue of the wood bowing or anything. But I've gone for the 2 panels. As you can see, all the gaps are flush as well, even on the corners and around the sides. And I'll show you what I've done with these to sort of get them fitting right. I'll just pull it off now. So on the inside, you can't see it now, but I've taped over the holes, but I've drilled little holes in the wood and then I've glued magnets in. And then I've just put the tape over the top just to give them a bit more reinforcement. But then, because I've got the metal frame, whenever I shut the door, the magnets just cling it straight on. So, major upgrade to the tank. What I will say is, this is the beauty of having a custom tank. So, if you're thinking about getting one, and you're one of people that like change their mind a lot, the beauty of it is essentially when you have a custom tank, you'll have your glass obviously on the top, but underneath you'll just have a stand, so a metal stand which is essentially just like a skeleton, and then you can change whatever you want on the tank then as well. So if you move house or anything and you know your decoration's different, then you have the ability to change the tank. You don't have to go out and buy something new or have something sticking out like a sore thumb. And you can just customise it however you want. So that's what I really like about having sort of a custom tank and an actual metal stand underneath, is you can change all this stuff whenever you want and just build it exactly how you want it. Another thing I did, which isn't as noticeable on camera as it actually is in person, but when I had the old cabinet doors on this, they used to come a little bit further up to the glass. So they were about here. So what I've done is I've had them built a little bit lower down, so it just comes to the very bottom of the tank. And the effect that I've got from that is it makes the tank look bigger. So when I'm looking at the tank now, it just feels like it's deeper and I'm looking at a bigger tank. So that's something I'm really glad that I did, because the cosmetic and the visual effect it's give it has really made the tank pop out. We also added a little bit of cosmetic decoration at the top, so some plants, some live plants. We've got the ivies, and then we've got this low light jungle plant at the back. So I'll always get low light plants for this, just because the LEDs aren't on all that much, so they only come on for a couple of hours in the evening. And also this room doesn't get an awful lot of sunlight, so I always get the low light plants. Really good to when I'm doing water changes. I can water the plants with the water from the water changes. Amazing fertilizer for plants. So if you're doing water changes and you're getting it in a bucket, throw it on the plants in the garden, throw them on the plants in your house. It's like a natural fertiliser. They just grow like wildfire when you use that water for them. But the plan is for this ivy to start, so for these jungle plants in the back to grow a little bit taller up, and then this ivy to sort of start spreading and growing around the lights, and then I just think it'll give it really cool effect. So this is day one of the finished product. So I've not seen how it looks at night yet, so stay tuned to the video and then we'll get some shots of it at night time as well.